Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer 40k Imperium magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, drop a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys and it goes an absolute massive way to help the channel too. Now, this week we're on issue 16 of Imperium magazine and we get 5 more Assault Intercessors for Space Marine range. Pretty handy to have, and they are definitely bulking out the Space Marines as they go, as much as possible really. So yeah, really good stuff, and pretty cool to have 5 more of these guys. I must admit I've not started on the last 5 yet, but this is topping us up and it is basically giving us a good basis to get a Space Marine army going. In the future though, we will be of course getting the Adeptus Mechanicus, and we will also be getting the good old Adepta Sororitas. So it should be really good, and yeah, a lot of stuff to go through, so pretty cool. But yeah, good stuff. Right, into the magazine we go. So of course we're greeted by the Assault Intercessors. So this is the 3rd time we've had a page about these guys, and each time they kind of give us a little tiny bit of something different. But yeah, so they of course have an advanced power armor that they use. So this is the Mark X power armor, so Mark 10 power armor that contains sensory and life support systems that warn the wearer of environmental hazards by the pads on their arms. They have of course ammo pouches that they may be carrying on their belts. The personal heraldry of a sergeant as well, which pays tribute to his origins or past service. They may be carrying a grenade, who knows. And of course you have the different markings as well for good old sergeants. So for instance, an Ultramarine sergeant's rank is indicated by both his red helmet and by the red skull icon displayed upon his right shoulder pad in the Ultramarines icon. So pretty cool stuff. We get a bit of information about the type of grenades that good old Space Marines may be carrying, which includes the crack grenades. So in addition to fragmentation grenades, each intercessor carries crack grenades. These explosives contain a shaped charge capable of blasting holes in heavy armor. When utilized correctly, they can shatter fortifications, destroy vehicles, and bring down monstrous enemies. So a pretty unique grenade, and something a little tiny bit different for the swift close combat specialists for RV Assault Intercessors. But yeah, really good stuff. Pretty cool as well. With these of course you get the usual, so you get your battle record as well, so you can include kind of changing their names, so you can have tank hunters, monster slayers, trench clearers, and then of course you can have your heroic origins for them as well on a d6. So yeah, you'll end up with 5 of these essentially. So they could be the son of a loyal serf, martial academy student, or they could be void-born warriors, for instance. But yeah, really good stuff. And of course, having the battle records is always very handy and pretty unique and pretty cool as well. Moving on though, we have a page about the Necron's ranged weapons. So the true strength of the Necron legions lies in the sheer volume of firepower they can bring to bear upon their opponents. Even lowly Necron warriors wield weapons with more than enough destructive power to rip through the ceramite armour of a Space Marine. So, these weapons can of course include the Gauss blasters. So Gauss weapons destroy their targets by firing beams of green energy that sever the target's atomic bonds. Stripping armour and flesh apart atom by atom, phalanxes of Necron warriors make use of various Gauss weapons to annihilate the enemies. There can be Tesla weapons, so Tesla weapons fire bolts of emerald lightning that leap from foe to foe after striking their initial target. These bolts become stronger as they crackle between targets and can quickly tear through whole enemy squads. Tesla weapons are often carried by Necron Immortals. And then of course they can also have a synaptic disintegrator, for instance. So favoured by Deathmark assassins, synaptic disintegrators are sniper weapons. These guns do not damage the target's flesh or bones, but instead destroy their neural tissue. Those struck by a shot from this weapon are either slain outright or have their mind destroyed. So a synaptic disintegrator doing exactly what it sounds like it's going to do. It disintegrates the synaptic cortexes and stuff like that, so pretty cool. They also have particle weapons. So particle weapons fire a stream of tiny antimatter particles. These detonate upon contact with other matter, annihilating their targets in violent blasts. These weapons come in many shapes and sizes and are often mounted on vehicles, canoptech constructs, and even Necron starships. So another quite devastating weapon from the Necron arsenal. Now, I must admit, I'm not super huge with 40k. I don't know everything about it, but these are some pretty dangerous weapons. These sound like they are pretty technologically advanced and a little bit nuts as well at the same time, but pretty damn cool if you ask me. I quite like the idea of these weapons. These weapons seem, yeah, bonkers. Is probably the word I'd like to use, but yeah, really good stuff. I think it's cool to see them as well. On the other side though, we also get some more information about things like the Doomsday weapons. So Doomsday weapons are plasma based and possess incredible destructive power potential. They are power hungry weapons capable of obliterating even the most well armoured tank with a single shot. Stilt-legged canoptech Doomstalkers are designed specifically to carry these weapons, which are mounted atop their carapaces, as you can see in the top of that picture there. Then we have emetic weapons. So these are long-range weapons that cause victims' atoms to be swiftly and violently repelled from one another. Those unfortunate enough to be struck by an emetic beam meet their end in an explosion of gore that is as impressive as it is horrific. Hovering death-obsessed locust destroyers are known to favour emetic weapons. Pretty unique kind of unit as well. So I think we actually do get one, maybe two of those guys later on in the magazine. I'll have to double check the picture, I can't remember. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Then there are the Death Rays. These are heavy weapons that are commonly mounted on Doomsday fighter aircraft. They function by pouring an immense amount of energy through a focusing crystal and emitting a beam of searing light that cuts through targets, no matter how heavily armoured, one after the other. So a very kind of focused, very powerful weapon that is generally mounted just on a vehicle more than anything. And then there are teleportation weapons. So some Necron structures and vehicles possess teleportation devices through which robotic armies can march onto the battlefield. These devices can be reversed to create a portal of exile that drags in screaming foes and casts them into void. So for instance, things like the Necron Tesseracts can be mounted with these, and pretty cool. And they're a pretty big unit and pretty different, and yeah, it's a shame we don't get one with this magazine, but it would be pretty overkill if we did, in all honesty. Then we get more information about one of the other factions within the 40k universe, which is the Chaos Space Marines. So of course, the Chaos Space Marines are humanity's fallen heroes and the scourge of the Imperium. For the promise of power, the Chaos Space Marines have sold their souls to the Dark Gods. From their cursed strongholds they strike at the realm they once swore to defend, driven by hate, bitterness and bloodlust. So, of course, with Chaos Space Marines, they can, of course, be essentially like the Chaos Warriors from Age of Sigmar. So they can be a follower of one of the different ruinous powers, whether that is Khorne, Nurgle, Tzeentch, or even Slaanesh. They can have some kind of Chaos Space Marines behind them, and they utilise a lot of the same kind of weaponry and just different iconography. But yeah, and generally look a little bit more barbaric as well. We get a bit of information about the different corruptions. So there is the chaotic corruption. So the Chaos Space Marines have been granted many terrible boons in exchange for their souls. With the help of the Chaos Gods, the Chaos Space Marines have even perfected the art of binding demons to their vehicles and war machines, creating monstrous demon engines with hate-filled minds and ravenous appetites of their own. So, of course, the demons, of course, have a lot of power and have been kind of utilised in a very kind of corrupting way to kind of enhance the Chaos Space Marine armies and their vehicles. And then we also get mentioned about the Horus Heresy. So 10,000 years ago, a civil war divided the Imperium. Few, save for we of the Inquisition and the Space Marines themselves, are permitted to know the truth of this conflict. 9 of the Emperor's Primarchs, his gene children, and commanders of his Space Marine legions fell to the embrace of the dark gods of chaos. They and the majority of their warriors took up arms against the Imperium. So, though the rebels were defeated and their leader, the Primarch Horus, was slain, several of his traitorous brothers ascended demonhood. These demon Primarchs and their surviving followers continue to dwell within the war, emerging only to seek vengeance upon the Imperium. So, if you've not heard about the Horus Heresy is a full storyline giving you a bit of backstory behind the Warhammer 40k universe and why certain things are the way that they are within the Warhammer 40k universe as well. But pretty cool stuff. Then we get a how to build section, of course, how to build the Assault Intercessors. In building the Sergeant, so this is one of the different ways you can do it. So the other magazine, a couple of issues ago, gave us one of the other ways of building it up with the helmetless head and stuff like that. So you could have 2 different sergeants depending on how you want to build them and everything like that as well if you want. So pretty cool stuff, but you of course have some extra components as well which you can keep for later use. And then your Assault Intercessor, so very similar to exactly what we've had before, but really cool stuff. Then we have our how to paint section, so exactly the same as we have before. Paint it up in the colour scheme that you're going for. If you're going for Ultramarines, like the magazine kind of wants you to, it's a very quick guide. It's a very simple guide, and it does do the job though. So it will kind of teach you how the basics of painting up Ultramarines into a pretty decent colour scheme, and it will work. That's the main thing about it. Then we have our movement phase and some more playthrough stuff. So the rules and references are getting more and more in depth now, now that we're 16 issues in. So you will find that there will be extra rules chucked at you all the time now. So we have information about the movement phase. This is giving you more information about how to move your warriors throughout the 40k games and stuff like that you may be playing. This is how the game works in its full equipment. So the issues before gave you very basic instructions of how this will work and everything like that. If you've been playing along, this is now kind of time to step up your game and kind of increase your knowledge as well. So you have, for instance, the movement phase, you have your shooting phase, your charge phase, and then you have things like your end phase as well. And then we have the playthrough itself. So the playthrough itself is Destroy the Warden. You are going with the Necron Royal Warden against the Assault Intercessors, but that is not all, of course. You will be using datasheets, so you will need datasheets from other good old magazines. So you will be using your Necron Warriors as well in this, and a good few Space Marine good old Assault Intercessors. So you're going to be using, from the looks of it, it's 8. But yeah, really good stuff. You will need, for instance, the Assault Intercessor datasheet from a playthrough issue 13, the Necron Warrior datasheet from playthrough 14, and you'll also need the Royal Warden datasheet from 15. So really good stuff. But yeah, it's basically teaching you how to play a little bit more as well now. So you're going 8 Assault Intercessors, Royal Warden, 10 Necron Warriors. Have fun with it, enjoy it, and yeah, a pretty decent playthrough on your large battle mat. Get your crates set up, get your barrels set up, and get your good old container set up, and you can have a bit of fun with this as well. So really good stuff. And then next week, just in time for Christmas, issue 17, we will get another armoured container, crates and barrels again. So paint it all slightly differently from how you have before. I'm not going to lie, I have painted mine up. So my barrels are red barrels, I have green crates, and I have a blue good old container, and yeah, you can have a bit of fun with it. But you know, if it's entirely up to you if you want to go for the same colour schemes or if you want to change them up. Really good stuff though. And then issue 18, we get the Necron Technomancer. So this guy is pretty cool, and a really cool model as well to have, and another one of your leaders and your HQ models for the good old Necron race. We also get a new double-sided mat as well, so this will be just after Christmas, so just in time for New Year's and any New Year gaming that you might be doing. Could be worth a shot. And we'll also find out more information about the Drakari. So yeah, really good stuff. Quite looking forward to the upcoming issues. We're getting through them, it seems like, very quickly at the moment. But yeah, loads of good stuff to follow, and yeah, can't wait. Right, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye now.